Hey, we're live. Okay, myself and Noodle are back. This is just, I think, just to try and fill the void that Media Musings leaves in some people, or lack of Media Musings. I just decided, so that I'm going to fire it up and have a little impromptu stream. Also, give me an opportunity to find out whether whether my webcam was completely screwed or not. It's working at the moment. So
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I mean, if it packs up again, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, Hops is going to join us in a bit. He's in the chat. I see rings there. I hope might be joining in a bit. But yeah, nothing really planned. But we thought we'd just fire it up and have a bit more of a chill out. And I'm having some beers now. It's drinking time.
Don't worry, I've been on the Baileys since we started Asterix. Don't worry about it. I just put it in my coffee cup so no one could tell.
Yeah, no worries. I'm much more blatant about my drinking.
I mean, to be fair,
people know.
I wasn't exactly trying to hide it.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
You know, it's just there off camera.
Yeah.
So yeah. I have a question for you because quite obviously I decided to be a little bit holiday season-y.
Yeah.
And you on Twitter for the last week have been a Grinch.
I have.
Now,
yeah.
that's my job.
I don't like. I'm 20 years of working for the Royal Mail does that to you. I'm afraid. I'm not a Christmas person. I'll put it this way. Once Christmas is here, I don't mind it so much. Though my highlight of the day of Christmas Day is normally going to the pub. And I'll just say, obviously, if those of you who were about in the last stream, I'll put that in the chat. It's also in the description. You want to buy Noodle coffee? It'd be appreciated right now.
Yes, very much appreciated.
So.
But yeah, because I've noticed I tend to alternate years. One year I'll be really Christmas, and other years I'll be yay Christmas, and this year I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm sort of Christmas.
I mean, I don't like to get too much into work stuff on YouTube for various reasons. First of all, I don't think they particularly like me talking about work on social media. You got to be a little bit careful in this day and age. Yeah. And all I will say though is, I'm in a weird position because I'm in a weird position that I'm kind of working out of my house at the moment. However, it does mean that I get started and finished a lot later than normal. And it's let's just say that the pandemic has played havoc with this. It's bad for us it's bad for us this time of the year anyway. The pandemic has really played havoc with us, and as it has with a lot of people, to be fair. And I know I think it's from the few conversations I've had with I think it is getting people down a bit now, and it is, especially now we got this tier 4 thing introduced as well. Which I know I don't know if she's lurking in the chat, and I don't think she is, but she may be working at the moment actually. But Atheist Donna's right in the thick of that,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
she not only is she in the region where it's tier 4 is, but she's a healthcare worker in that, and they're bloody
yeah,
heroes right now. The healthcare
yeah.
workers,
Yeah,
wherever they are
healthcare.
around the
Yeah,
world.
I'll drink to that. And cheers to that.
Mm,
Um, I will say as well, I am so impressed by how well the delivery things have coped throughout this whole pandemic.
yeah,
Like, okay, we get the odd delay, but at least sort of nationally and not bringing things from abroad, which is a completely different kettle of fish that I don't blame on the Royal Mail because stuff gets stuck at the border, not on Royal
yeah,
Mail. I've
yeah,
noticed. But I've been shielding most of this year, so if I've bought anything, if I've sent anything, it's all been done through Royal Mail.
yeah,
And Royal Mail has been my lifeline this year.
yeah.
I could not have. I
Well,
don't think I'd have got very far this year without Royal Mail.
yeah, I like I said, I had to spend a lot of time shielding, and I'm sort of semi. Like I said, I'm not in the depots. Is what I'm saying. I am working. I'm working a full day, and I had a very very bad day yesterday because it was chaotic for a number of reasons. But the ones who I think are in the depots as well and trying to, have to wear masks all the time in there, and trying to get a ton of stuff done with social distance. And as much as I like to, much as times a bit around, even the managers, I think they've been stressed out beyond belief this year. It's, but I think it's not. It's the same with any.
It is.
It's the same with a lot of jobs at the moment. It's
Stressful.
it's stressed people. I mean, it's actually amazing that I think a lot more people. I'm surprised a lot more people are not off with mental health issues. Actually, it's
I will say I work in a call center environment in a job that's pretty high stress, even when things not gone down the toilet.
yeah,
For those who aren't aware, I work in the fraud department of a major bank. I'm not going to name the bank for obvious reasons, but it has been rough, and we are getting. It is playing havoc with the mental health of the people you're talking to. So yes, this is a plea from me, particularly going into this last week where everyone's going to be using their bank cards and payments are going to be being stopped and things are going to be going on. Please, please, please be gentle with us when you come through. Like,
yeah,
we are doing our very best for you. We know you have waited 40 minutes to an hour to speak to us. We know you're in a hurry. We know it's going to be Christmas Eve and you need that bag of sprouts. We know this. There's only so much we can do. Please bear with us. Okay? If you've got other avenues, if you've got other bank cards, try use them. If you've got, if you can do something online instead of calling us, please do it online. If you can do something on most banks have an automated service that you can call and do basic things by pressing numbers on your phone, please use it. And I'm sure I speak for people across all banks when I say that we are being hammered at the moment. If you've been scammed or you've had fraud, please, that's urgent. Don't wait to call us. Even over the holiday periods, banks have lines open for things like that. So I have to say that, and I'm sort of putting my work hat on a little bit because this time of year is a fucking nightmare for people getting fraud and scams.
I mean,
The quicker you get in touch with your bank, the quicker we can sort it for
yeah.
you. And the longer you wait, the less chance you're going to get of getting your money back.
Yeah.
So please do be gentle with us.
Hello, never again.
Hi, never. Trust me, we appreciate it when you call through and you raise a smile. Just please, no jokes about can we give you the lottery numbers because we've heard that a million times.
I'll actually say Hoodle's a good little amalgamation of the two because it was hissy a couple of weeks. So Hoodle's halfway between.
It's a nice yeah.
Yeah, it's a good stopgap. But we won't let it catch on. But I don't think.
Let's not let it catch on. But yeah, please do just be gentle with us. We know you're stressed as well. If you come through and you're stressed, we're not going to hold it against you if you're a bit snappy.
This
But
is
equally, don't go having a go at us.
This is a link here, but I warn you, this is a link to Hopswatch's blog, but beware, it is in Danish. I'm sure if you can get it to translate, he should be joining us in a little bit with any luck. So he's, but so you know, he does beer reviews and
well,
Noodle,
you're
breaking up a bit.
Okay, cool. You get a reasonable translation if you use Google Translate. That's built into Chrome. I'm just looking at it. You get a reasonable translation.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna have a shopping list a mile long of beers to try.
And Hops actually just said this, that yeah, I can imagine it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to the point. I'm not ashamed of admitting it. The stress of it all at the start of the month got me off work for a week with a stress-induced migraine.
Yeah,
I just couldn't.
This is what I'm saying. I think it's amazing that more people are not just dropping from stress and just mental exhaustion from it all. Especially this time of year. This time of year is not just for my job. For most people, it is a busy. It is a time of year where it is very stressful for people. It's also, I mean, it's sad to say that this time of the year does generally, historically, has always been bad for like suicides and stuff, and so I definitely, as I said, it's take care of yourself. Reach out if you need help. Is all I'll say. And this year especially, because it's more stressful and it's more depressing than ever this year for a lot of people. And it's going to be difficult because I mean, especially now, a lot more people are going to be spending Christmas alone this year as well. Because I mean, like especially these poor guys, I know a lot of people who just yesterday have had to pretty much cancel their Christmas plans because of the step up in the lockdown that that's come. So
what I'm about to do, I'm about to share a link to a list of mental health helplines in the year. So do have a look at that. One thing I've seen that I'm actually really, it put a smile on my face. Dave, the TV channel, actually is running the campaign for campaign against living miserably, the Calm campaign, which is quite good. So there's the link there.
Okay.
I was concerns all, or if you want to learn more about it, read this. And that's my work hack done. Right, it's my day off. That's what you're getting.
Yeah, although this is it. I mean, because as I said, I had a very long, stressful day yesterday, and I tell you, I was like, I was getting on the last stretch. It's like, okay, another 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, I'll be done. And it was like, good. I'm cool. Great. I'm gonna be done soon. And then it had to happen. It chucked it down with rain. I've been dry I'd missed. Apart from there was a little spot or two, but nothing serious, nothing I couldn't deal with. And then I thought, but I'm going to go home with like dry gear. And then it opened, and I was just like, oh, good God,
And it's
still
Ring's still recovering spoons. I think Hobbs said it was coming, so
Yeah, yeah. He's got a couple of things to do though for first, but then hopefully he'll pop in.
Here's something. I needed another Brit to have this conversation. Please explain to our non-British people this.
What on earth is that?
It's a
Is that
Kevin.
Kevin? I don't understand this. Hey, Cameron. My one of my oldest mates in the chat.
Oh, hi,
One of
Cameron.
my
This.
yeah, he's one of my he's like one of my he's like he and I go back to school together. I was the best man at his wedding, and
Nice.
we went to Peru together a couple of years ago and walked the Inca Trail.
Oh, nice
Unfortunately,
one.
that was what. By the way, that was what I was telling myself all day yesterday when I was sort of walking around the streets, getting absolutely depressed. I was like, man up! You walked the fucking Inca Trail 2 years ago. Man the fuck up, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Cameron knows Kevin the Carrot. Kevin the Carrot is the superhero protagonist of a relatively well-known supermarket. I don't know if they do the same adverts in Europe, but it's Aldi.
yeah.
They're not sponsored. And Kevin is just one of the cute little protagonists we get in advertising in the UK because we're weirdos who have cartoon characters sell us things.
Like or CGI things like.
Oh yeah, do you remember Alexander?
Let's see. Compare the
I've got an Alexander
meerkat.com.
I've got an Alexander somewhere as well.
I gotta say that the meerkat thing was kind of cute and funny at first, and then it got. After a while, it got bloody tedious. I'm sorry, it did. Right, just to give you a second, I'm gonna get some light in here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to open the beer curtain, Jeff. So, yeah, I would say if you want to see something cute, Google UK Christmas adverts. They're pretty good. The Lego advert made me cry this year.
Oh my word! I'm gonna see if I can find this thing here. Actually, I think I'll find it on YouTube. I thought this was a thing from a few years ago. But I thought it was a Christmas advert at first, but then it was no. I don't want that because for some reason it's taken me to the link to our last stream that we did about half an hour ago. Let me.
Oh.
Aha. Yeah, I thought this was a Christmas, but it was just a little CGI. It was just like a little CGI thing. But when I first saw this, I initially thought, was this an advert of some kind? Hopefully, I'm not going to get like copyright hit for this.
Hopefully not.
Well, I'll keep us sort of somewhat talking over it, so we should. This is
right.
Yeah. It's quite funny.
Oh, I remember this one.
Do you remember this? Yeah, that's funny. As funny as that. As funny as you like that thing.
Yeah.
I always like that thing.
Yeah, I feel like I can't tell whether it's a sign of that we're in the post-apocalyptic nightmare.
That's what I'm hoping.
Or not.
I'm hoping I don't ring. I got to be honest, but I'm hoping
Yeah.
I won't get copyright hit for that. But it's I mean, people. I mean, obviously, you know. Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul, mate.
I cannot explain, Bull.
I was just messing around. Say we were talking about like silly UK Christmas ads. I thought that was when I first saw it. Then I just realized it was like a little animated short. For some reason, it made me laugh. But it was actually, it's funny you turned up in the chat just then, Bull, because I was actually just saying there are no channels that have had some copyright hits recently, and obviously Bull's involved with Sit Down with Debunkers, which I believe is going to be rebranding soon, but they had some issues with a copyright strike recently, so yeah, you know, it's a bit annoying, but Bull, do you want a link, mate? Do you want to come in? Let us know if you do. I'll send you a link. Yeah, so I think I'm trying to remember what Asterix book is next. I'm gonna have to like
It's Asterix and Son. I checked earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've read this. Like I said, we're getting into an era of books that I haven't read most of them now. Because most of the ones I read were the sort of Goscinny era ones, you know. Okay, give me a sec, Ball. I'll send you an invite, mate. Yeah, we're just kind of chilling today, really, Ball. That's all we're doing. And we've got Hopswatch.
Hey, hi, Hops.
Oh, he's just sorting his mic out at the moment, so either way, actually, Noodle, did you see the video I put out for Atheist Pastors thing?
I saw it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I'll find that. I'll share that one.
Also, I love Hops's hair. It's so long.
It's
yeah.
you put me to share. I think I see. I was thinking at one time that the hair thing, that the order it went in was Neil the 604 Atheist, R and Ra, then me. Then I realized like no, Hops is above me. And now like I've seen Chad and Sam's hair. It's like I'm just dropping further down that list all the time. You know. Yeah. Let's find my. What am I doing? Right. Okay. You just still there, Noodle? Are you frozen?
I'm here.
Oh, you are here. I thought you'd frozen then. I was like, oops.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep. We also we got Ballinator. Hi, mate. So we've got good to see you, my friend. Okay. He's here, but so I'm just trying to find the I did this for atheist, like, because atheist pastors as a lead into atheist pastors 6-pack the other day.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay! I can hear you now, Bull.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I have to redo some of the audio on my system because hello.
Oh yeah.
Windows updates. Windows updates. You gotta love them.
Oh. There's been a lot of them this month.
Yeah, there has.
Right.
I mean, even after patch was it Patch Tuesday, and then there's still more after that. So I don't know what's been going on there.
Yeah. I was panicking when my webcam packed up during the last stream we did a minute ago. I was like, oh god, no, not that. I seem to have it back now. Right, I'm gonna put this full screen on. This is what I did for Atheist Pastor's Chris Attlee's 6-pack thing the other day for the Christmas party. Okay.
Before Christmas. 'Twas the 6-pack before Christmas, and all through the house. Nerdy Rodent was in the chat, the nice little mouse. It was a nice Christmas party with Manda, Ed, Jen, and Jay. And Godless Scummer was there with some beers for the day. The panel sat down to talk about upcoming plans, and Chris and Gary had GOD's OnlyFans. They thought for a minute they were all being rude, but then laughed the next moment about the fatty old dude. 'Twas a nice Christmas stream full of laughter and cheer as Lissy Lou kindly bought Chris in a beer. The banter was nice all through the day, with cries of "damn it, Jen," and "hey, screw you, Jay." The chat was really pleasant and all going well. No problem in sight as best we could tell. But from out of nowhere, we all got a fright. We had creationists and flirts all turn up for a fight. Darth Dawkins and Hovin came in for a go, with Mark Sargent and Nathan Thompson following in tow. If you don't accept Jesus, you won't go to heaven, said inmate numbers 06452017. Rally to send off to improve them. He said, "Hey Darth, Kent, you need to go back. There's only one fur from this channel. His name's Bobby Max." Scummer sounded the bugle, see who'd answer the call. Then Critical Cripple came bouncing in on his ball. The others summoned friends to come in and help. As the cavalry arrived, the invaders let out a yell. In came Granny, Ilya, and Conspiracy Cat. And Kent Hogan said, "I wasn't prepared for that." The party troopers saw that the tide had turned. They knew if they'd stayed, they would get burned. That moment, they knew it was a defeat as Darth Dawkins decided to sound the retreat. But they were not getting it off easy this time about as Mama Atheist and Jen made it a rout. They bashed Darth and Kent till they hit the floor. Now the Flurfers would be the last casualties of this war. Mama Atheist grabbed Sergeant and had say, "Suck on my dick." And Jen made Nathan Thompson choke on the selfie stick. With the problem dealt with, the party could really begin. With some beer, wine, vodka, and maybe some gin. See, this time of year, there should be less work and more play. So everyone, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Awesome. Love it.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of
Love it.
yeah.
You are a born poet. Scummy,
That was.
really are.
There's a lot of inside jokes in that one though. So it was just that was.
Hey, what are you having, Jeff?
I've got some Moretti's today. I've got some. I've got a couple of ones in the fridge actually that look like an Scotch infused ale. So it's got a slight taste of Scotch to it.
Nice.
Innocent.
Yeah, that's the one.
Innocent Gun.
Innocent Gun, that's the one. Yeah, I've got a couple of cans of that in the fridge actually. But
Okay.
it's a nice
There's 2 noodles
sipping
on
beer.
stream. Sorry, there's 2 noodles on stream.
Noodle.
Who's those?
There is another noodle on stream.
Right.
That
Uh-huh.
noodle.
Stupid Noodle who doesn't want to eat. Still doesn't want to eat.
Mhm.
He's on his. He'll soon be on his 3rd month of not eating, if he's not already. it's not that unusual, really, because I mean,
Snake.
snake. Yeah.
So,
Why am I missing that word now? Why can't I? Just a sec. I have to look a word up. For some reason, I don't remember it. It's embarrassing. Reptile. Yes. Why didn't I remember that? Weird. Anyway, yeah, reptiles can do for months without food, and in particular, these ball pythons are infamous for not wanting to eat if you change their environment just a little bit. And I gave it a brand new tank for my birthday, a much larger one, and it's still as if it hasn't gotten used to that. And as long as it doesn't get used to it, it doesn't want to eat. So I've got this mouse that it will only eat live food. So for the past couple of months, I've also had a mouse, and that's a quick little bugger. It almost got away from me a few minutes ago when I tried to once again in vain feed him.
So like, I hear that snakes, when they're wrapped around you like that, they're actually very gentle. Is this true?
Yes.
Cute.
Yes, absolutely. It's like holding a kitten. Not quite as soft, but no claws.
It's a fair compromise, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just after your warmth. Like it just wants the warmth of you. So it's it's very cuddly, apparently.
So you got who's it? Was it Navadia? She's got 2 snakes now, hasn't she? So.
I should say no. That's the origin of my username. When I cuddle up with Ring trying to steal warmth, he called me cold-blooded once, and it stuck.
Yeah.
And it just went from there to Hissy to
Hissy the Danger Noodle. Yeah.
Well, funny. One of my good friends, with whom I lived in a dorm back when I was in college, she actually also had a snake which was called Hissy.
Oh. Never wants to know if you check the temperature in the new larger tank, Hops.
I actually bought some heating for it recently to see if it would get a bit more active, but it seems to have had the opposite effect. Now it's even more passive than it was before. So I don't. I mean, you hear a lot of things, some things contradicting, but what I've heard about ball pythons is that they are nocturnal, so they don't need that much heat. What people usually do is to give them too much heat, really. They don't need that much because they're nocturnal and they live in desert areas where it can be very, very chilly in the night.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That makes sense. Also the whole Slytherin thing. It was a combination of the things. Also, I used him when he tried to I need to know if your snake has a name, because you're calling your snake it.
Oh yeah. Well, it is male, and it's called Vladimir Bechterev.
Okay.
It's named after the neurologist who diagnosed Joseph Stalin with paranoid schizophrenia. And who incidentally, probably completely unrelated, and just incidentally, the morning after was found dead on his bed.
I'm sure, completely incidental. But it must be surprise heart attack. It happens.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure, like the machete in his head or something had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that comment Ring made a minute ago, I've got to put this up.
Rings channel punching bag.
I actually have that saved because I bought I did it. I had that up for some reason the one time when he was when you guys were on stream a couple of weeks ago. But I always have several banners saved. Obviously, I've had this new one I've put up. Now I've got Patreon, obviously. Now and then I've got this one that I tend to sometimes use in ours, Noodle.
These Romans are crazy. Yep.
Yeah. So those are the ones I can't have saved.
Have you heard the origins of these Romans are crazy?
I think Noodle kind of figured that out, didn't you? Or...
Yeah, because in Latin it's the same initials as SPQR.
Yeah, well then it would be Italian, because in Latin it's Senatoris Publiusque Romanus, and in Italian that can be that is abbreviated. That's an acronym for Sono pazzi questi Romani.
Yeah,
which is these Romans are crazy.
These Romans are crazy, and it's SPQR, which, as we know, is the Senate and People of Rome. And you see that once you know where these Romans are crazy comes from, walking around Rome and seeing those letters just everywhere, it's like the country is just trying to warn you.
Right.
And it's Rome's one of those cities. I think you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's a typical bustling tourist city.
Absolutely love it.
I adore it. I could.
It's definitely my second favorite city of the whole world. My most favorite one being my most favorite one being Glasgow.
I've never been to Glasgow.
I've never been to Glasgow. I love Edinburgh. I must go to Glasgow because I love Edinburgh a bit. So I've been told Glasgow's better.
Yeah,
Edinburgh's okay.
Rome's my favorite city. I also quite like Prague. Prague's a very nice city to get lost in.
I was in Prague in 1982 when it was still in Czechoslovakia. And we went there by car, my parents and my family. We were visiting one of my dad's colleagues. I guess he would also have been a geographer and someone he studied with, I guess in Bonn or wherever he had been studying. And we went by car through the German Democratic Republic on concrete motorways. Grunk, grunk, grunk.
Yeah.
And I specifically remembered when we had to go into Czechoslovakia, we had to wait for an hour and 20 minutes where they looked through all our luggage because my mum at not one of her brightest moments, she took out her camera to take pictures of us, and of course you couldn't do that at a
border crossing.
At a border crossing.
Not at a checkpoint. Nope.
They kind of used that as an no. What they were actually looking for was the green insurance piece of insurance paper that you had to have to cross into Czechoslovakia, and they couldn't find that, and they looked through the whole car. That was what was happening, as far as I remember, and they never found it. They were actually allowed to go in, and they were told this is now all on you. I mean, you can go through, but we can't guarantee you your safety or if any damage happens that you can be helped at all. We went in anyway, and then after spending 1.5 hour, however much at the border, they found it under the gas pedal, like 200 meters after crossing the border, or something like that.
Wow!
Most important thing, we had it, but we hadn't shown it to any of the uniformed people. I remember how weird it was for me to see uniformed people with machine guns at their sides.
That was
around.
exactly my reaction going into America in 2014.
Just quickly, just quickly, also see her in chat. Jenny Morgan, check your DMs. I sent you a link if you want to come in.
Yeah.
So-
But I went to Prague it would have been 2009, 2010.
Mhm.
Lovely city. I strongly suggest not going there if you don't speak German and or Russian. Preferably speak Czech, but if you don't speak those two languages, you're done for. I managed to get away with rudimentary Polish and smatterings of Russian for a week.
Right. Okay. I actually studied Russian in high school, but apart from that, I've got German family and I teach German, so
No,
I guess it'd be
studied
okay.
in high school. I knew just enough to ask where the train was, where the toilet was, and order a drink. The only problem is I only knew how to order vodka. So at 16 years old, I shouldn't have been, but I spent most of that week blasted. And I can admit it now.
It's called piva. It's called piva, even in Czech.
Yeah.
I used to be able to speak fairly good French, but I can't. But last time I went to France, I realised how rusty I'd become, and just how much I'd forgotten. And it's scary. It's like,
oh no, I did that.
It's like I used to be able to have I used to be able to get by. I wouldn't say I was fluent in it, but I could certainly get by having in France. I don't think I can anymore. But I mean, with the Brits, we are notoriously bad at foreign languages anyway.
Yeah, even when we try. Like, I have a good GCSE in French, which it should be more than enough to survive a week in a French-speaking country.
I'm from America. Hold my beer on that.
Yeah.
Like we're lucky if we get Spanish, you know?
No,
Like,
I went to Tunisia and everyone was asking me if I was Spanish because I kept mixing up my languages because I learned French and Spanish at the same time. And I had the same problem in Italy a few years ago as well, trying to speak Italian and accidentally speaking Spanish because dyslexic brain.
that's easier to do. It's easier to mix up Italian and Spanish than French because the pronunciation of French is so different. But Italian, it's not. It's almost identical in Italian.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of words in Italian.
The pronunciation is, but the words are completely different. I mean, when you look at the words and the etymology, Italian and French are actually way more alike than Italian and Spanish.
You know,
and I tried just
for me, Italian is French words with a Spanish accent. That's how my brain computes Italian.
That sounds about right.
Yes.
So instead of bonjour, it's buongiorno, you know.
Yeah. Noodle, have you ever tried a Catalan?
I haven't, no. I'm very bad at Spanish as a language. I dropped Spanish after 3 years studying it because I could not.
No worries. Catalan is nothing like Spanish. Catalan is French. It is. I mean, I would say that is French, pronounced as if it's Italian. I mean, it's almost eerie how Catalan is just exactly in between French and Italian.
Yeah. I mean, geographically, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
The Catalan region.
I was kind of rooting for them a couple of years ago when they tried to go for independence. So I was.
So was I.
Rooting for them.
Yeah.
So was I.
I mean, I root for any country that tries to go for independence. I'm waiting for Argentina to try so I can piss off all the neighbours. I'm waiting for to try again.
I like the one somebody tried to. It was a program called "The Revolution Will Be Televised," which was sort of like a hidden camera thing, with a little bit of a political edge. And they were trying to get into the Olympics in London, and they had this thing like "No Political Slogans," and they unveiled T-shirts that said "Free Scotland."
Yeah. So I'm just a great believer in sovereignty of any country that wants it.
Oh, hold on. I just realised. Jenny, hello.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
How are you all?
We are absolutely fine. Did I show, by the way, what I was having? I'm having this stuff again. My preferred, I'd rather say, industrial IPA.
Let me try and get you full screen a second there. Sorry.
My preferred industrial IPA.
What's that brand name? I can't quite see that.
It's Albany.
I'll try that again. And
I'll have to see if they sell it at Aldi and try it.
Which
Aldi's
is
the best place to go for international beers, I've found.
Aldi is very good for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where you would get it in Britain. It's from Denmark's second largest brewery, which is called Royal Unibrew. Albany used to be an independent brewer, but they were bought up by Royal Unibrew, or rather, they were all fusioning together to.
I'm going to that second biggest brewery.
Well, the second
biggest. I was going to say it's got to be Carlsberg number one, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they would have established that brewery in, say, Greece, would have been known as Unibrow.
Oh, right.
Kenny. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I know you can't help yourself. I know you can't.
I love Greece. It's a seat of democracy.
Greek. I've never been to the Greek mainland, but I've been to some of the Ionian Islands.
We went to Zaki when I was a kid.
So I went to Kefalonia and Ithaca. Those are the two I've been to, I think.
The closest I got to Catalonia is starting to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so you know.
I was stationed in the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, and the Greeks get really upset when you call it Macedonia, because they're like, no, that's not Macedonia.
Yeah.
That's why for many years what is now North Macedonia was called the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
Yep, that's why they called it that, because it was hotly disputed whether they were going to retain the name Macedonia. Yeah, but they did come out of the Yugoslav Union without bloodshed because of us. So
yeah, they did.
That's good. That's one of the few people that came out. It's one of the few countries that came out of Yugoslavia without bloodshed. They're unlike Bosnia.
Bosnia was really, really, really bad.
It was.
The other one would be, well, there wasn't that much bloodshed in Montenegro, as I remember.
Not much. There was some, but it wasn't as bad. I don't think there's many places we can say were as bad as Bosnia got.
No, Slovenia wasn't that bad neither.
Croatia,
there was a bit of war in Slovenia, but they pulled out of Slovenia pretty quickly. I mean, that was a matter of months, and they didn't want to do that anymore, and just let Slovenia become Slovenia.
See, this is all before my time, and I studied all of this in, a combination of history class and listening to my dad.
I was sort of fairly young when the whole I was about 11 or 12 when it all started, and I just remember it being like the top news item on the 9 o'clock news, pretty much, with the exception of the 1992 general election. It was pretty much the top story in the news for a year to a year and a half straight. It was because obviously it started with Croatia and Croatia and so on, and then when it got into Bosnia, it was just it was nightly. It was the top story in the news for like almost a year to year and a half straight. And the thing that I'm pretty damn sure the thing that pushed it off of the number one spot was Rwanda.
That'll do it.
Yeah. I was gonna. That's the timing sounds right for that. So Rwanda was.
Yeah, Rwanda was 93, wasn't it?
93, 94, something like that.
And it was that's a very unfortunate thing that happened there.
Yeah,
extremely
putting
unfortunate.
It mildly, I think.
We got. Oh dear, we're getting into genocide now. This supposed to be a fun stream.
Well, see, my thing is in the United States, like most people in the United States have no clue what's going on outside of the United States. They don't have any kind of grip on world politics, and that world politics is arguably more important than the local nonsense that happens here sometimes.
The interesting thing is, the United States is more than halfway there to the Rwanda genocide, as far as I can see. It's estimated about 500 to 600,000 people were killed there, and the United States is already significantly over 300,000 COVID deaths. So you're getting there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I will point out as well. I'm going to speak up in defense of Americans here. It's not entirely their fault. They don't know what's going on in the world. When I went to visit Ring it would have been summer 2014 in America. Now, granted, I landed in frigging Tennessee and we drove across the American Midwest. But even stopping in motels with like cable news every night, trying to watch the news, it was very difficult to find out anything that was happening outside of America without going online and specifically searching for it. And even then it was hard because the internet connection was just garbage.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think I can understand why a lot of Americans' main news source is Twitter and Facebook. I really can. Because
what's that old,
they cannot rely on their own television sets. It's madness.
What's that old quote? I mean, it's sometimes attributed to Mark Twain, although I don't know. I have serious doubts about the accuracy of this. But it's that old quote that says, "War was invented to teach Americans geography."
Yeah, I can believe it.
Wool?
War.
Oh, war, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, the problem is a lot of Americans don't know their own history. Or the only history they know.
So do a lot of British people, though, Noodle. So.
Yeah, no, to be fair, but at least, most British people will at least have some passing recognition if you say the words 1066 or Henry VIII or Cromwell. Americans, if you mention, the antebellum self, if you mention various names from that era, unless they've been raised in a particular area or they're really interested in history, they're not going to know what you're talking about. I've spoken to Americans who were alive at the time and don't know a lot about the end of the Cold War.
Let's let the Americans defend themselves here.
In defense of the educational system and the opportunities Americans have to learn this stuff, it was all taught in grade school and high school. The majority of Americans didn't bother paying attention and remembering.
Dirty.
Okay, I went through that same educational system, and everything you've mentioned, I know about.
There's a lot of that
and
stuff
in greater
was
detail.
covered. That stuff was covered, but history it's almost, there's people here actively trying to rewrite our own history. Like they're trying to say things that just are blatantly false about history in the United States. It's ridiculous, of course.
Paul, I'll tell you something. I used to do as a hobby at one time, which and because I used to do this as a hobby, I had to read up quite a bit on the history of this. I used to do historical reenactments of the American Civil War, and it's amazing how many Americans I've talked to who don't know an awful lot about the U.S. Civil War, and there is a lot of rewriting history. And I'd say possibly going on both sides there a bit, but but I will say especially there's a glorification of the Confederacy that I think is really unjust.
Well, and the same thing goes for the white nationalists too. Like they try to downplay World War II as if we didn't all join into the fight against that.
That's what they do here as well, though.
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing that people think it's okay to be a white nationalist. Well, no, we fought a war against that kind of nonsense. We fought several wars against that kind of nonsense. The Civil War was against slavery, whether you want to admit it or not.
We're back in 2 minutes, guys. Okay.
They
All
just changed the name from Nazis to
White nationalists.
White
Yeah.
nationalists because it sounds better.
Well, it sounds less like, hey, we're genocidal maniacs.
Yep.
It's kind of it's depressing because it's like the people who fought in that war would turn over in their graves.
Well, look at the person who's the leader of that side of the country these days. He's trying to overturn an election.
Yeah.
They just came out this weekend on Friday. There was this big hoopla, yelling and screaming meeting at the White House about whether or not to engage martial law.
There's going to be problems. There's going to be problems with the turnover. I'm waiting for the Secret Service to go in on January 20th and forcibly remove him. You could see something like that happening.
Fortunately, the military said when they heard about the martial law thing is that the military will not have any part of martial law for that reason. Elections are for the people to decide, not the military. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah, they
not
swear
afraid.
as some generals said, they swear to the Constitution and not the president.
Yep.
Yes. The only thing, when you're in the military, you swear to uphold the Constitution primarily. The commander-in-chief is to the office of commander-in-chief, which is run by election. So as soon as Joe Biden is sworn in on inauguration, then their allegiance is to him, not Donald Trump at that point.
Right.
Even though Donald Trump might physically be in the White House.
I read a great tweet yesterday. A woman wrote that she hopes that if the Secret Service does have to drag Donnie out, that everybody's wearing body cams and they put it on TVs for us to enjoy.
Yes.
And make it a pay-per-view.
Get some money
No,
on that.
not pay-per-view. It has to be shared with the whole world's population.
God, what an idiot.
Completely. I mean,
And he's still completely ignoring the goddamn virus.
Oh yeah. Did you hear the latest about the what do they call it? The stipend they're going to give us again? Like to give us the $1,200?
Oh yeah, big $600.
Oh, I heard it was. I heard they cut it.
Budget.
I heard they cut it again to $300. That's what I heard.
They're going to do $300 a week on unemployment for people who are getting unemployment checks are going to get an additional $300 each week, which is not bad. But the rest of us monkeys only get $600.
Yeah,
Right.
$600. We've been under this pandemic nonsense for what, going on 9-10 months now, and we've gotten a grand total of $1,200 of relief aid from our government.
Yes, and that comes out to about 29 cents an hour over the year.
yeah, that's impressive. How can you live? How can you live off that little? I want to know how you do that because it'll make me rich. It'll make me rich on unemployment benefit if I can use that little. Of course.
Of course you can't, but the senators are so completely out of touch with America.
Yeah.
They think we think $600 is a lot of money.
Right. Apparently, I mean it is insane. And how do you guys get by? I can't understand.
We don't. There are going to be thousands upon thousands of evictions in the next 30 days because of people can't pay their rent.
What do people do when they get evicted? I mean, do people go?
They live on the streets.
That's insane.
Hopefully that gets addressed after January 20th rather rapidly. I'm hoping. Although I don't think that the Senate is going to be cooperative at all during Biden's presidency here.
Except the hammer's coming down on all these people on January 1.
Also, didn't I see a thing that some people on unemployment getting this $300 a week are going to be getting more than some people who are actually employed.
That's what Jenny mentioned earlier.
Yeah, like, how are your... See, yes, Ring is American, so I know about American minimum wage, but I have major beef with this. I have a friend in a right-to-work state, I won't say which one, and she's a waitress, and her salary, her hourly wage is $2.40 an hour.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
rest is tips, which she also has to pay taxes on.
But tips are not guaranteed. I don't care what anyone says, tips are not guaranteed.
No, they're not. Of course not.
Particularly when you're in a position where you've got no one's coming in to actually eat, you take away only, and you reduced hours as it is because there's not the demand there.
Well, we're on the precipice of losing about 40% of the restaurants in the country.
I would not be surprised.
Yep.
This whole thing is just tremendously fucked up, and it's all because a leader allowed his people to stand around and pretend it's a hoax and fight the system and not protect themselves and let it spread like fucking wildfire.
Well, to be honest, I think as an outsider looking into America, I'm not surprised you ended up with a leader who let it be seen as a hoax, because for years and years and years, and not just in America, but, you know, in other parts of the world as well, I will say that, to be fair to America, to say the anti-vax movement and the anti-intellectualism that comes out of America sometimes is just... anyone who's even vaguely educated outside of America looks at that and thinks, you know, what are you teaching people that's what they're coming out with? And the problem is that those people have got very loud voices, and those voices are the ones that have taken over the narrative. And
Well, all of that kind of anti-government trust and belief can really be traced back to 1980 when Ronald Reagan was running for president and won. His campaign slogan was "I'm Ronald Reagan and I'm here to save you from the government" or something like that.
I was listening in. I just got back, but when Noodle said that, I mean, I have such disdain for anti-vaxxers. I was going to make a vid, but the most stupid thing said this week, stupid and disgusting thing was said by a British person.
go on.
What did Boris Johnson say now?
No.
Okay.
The current reigning dumb fuck of the year, Anthony Riley.
Oh,
And
God!
thankfully, his video was removed because it was.
Oh, good.
Do you know he got on that? Do you remember the video the other day that the nurse in America who had the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, and then she fainted like 20 minutes later because there was this it almost got on a meme train that she had died from the vaccine. And Riley went full bore into this without flipping checking this fact, which, surprise, I mean, he is a flat earther after all. He went full bore into this.
The biggest thing about that is the next day she was on a variety of news shows saying, "No, I have this condition where I faint about 2 or 3 times a day."
Yeah, and there was a tweet today from the hospital that she works at saying she's at home right now and she just wants a little bit of privacy for her and her family. So give it. So there was, they put it out on Twitter, but Riley went full blown into that. I've got to say, I have to say, I love sarcastic Barman's response to it. His rant was really.
What did sarcastic Barman say? I missed that.
He went on a tirade against Riley for that.
I mean,
it's only about a 5-minute video, but Barman tore him a new one.
Yeah, it was your typical Barman rant seated with a little spirit of Jut Monkey.
Oh, he put Jut Monkey to shame, I think. I think he put Jut Monkey to shame.
Really? That's tough.
There are sort of we are aware, and there are some news sources that you listen to that are saying, some professionals at the moment are saying, if you've got allergies, hang fire
I'm
on
gonna.
getting this vaccine. But that's
I'll,
if you've got specific allergies, speak to your doctor. They know better.
I'll find.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll
Like,
tell you. I'll find Barman's video. I'm sure he won't mind.
and it's just
I'll DM him
Yeah,
though.
he
Let him know I'm gonna share.
He won't
I'm gonna
mind.
go through share his video. Yeah, but I'll just out of courtesy,
I think I am definitely pro this vaccine. I will happily join the queue to take it if I'm eligible to get it as quickly as possible. But I think we need to have some nuance in the discussion of, if you've got allergies, you should be wary of any new drug that comes onto the market, not just vaccines.
My
Second of
doctor's
all,
already got me on the list for
yeah.
the first round when it becomes available to the
and we've got
people.
not just that, but also we are seeing in the news media that some of these that are coming out, they're not quite sure what the dose should be or anything else. Listen, if they really weren't sure, this has been rushed through, no doubt about it, but they wouldn't be putting it out there if it wasn't.
There have been
There's questions about the effect, the actual how useful it's going to be, but its safety. They wouldn't be putting it out there if it wasn't safe.
There were over 100,000 people in the human test trials.
Yeah, my dad was in the human test trials.
Pardon?
My dad took part in the Oxford one.
Oh, okay. I volunteered for one, but they didn't take me.
Yeah. So again, it's definitely safe for humans. Whether it's gonna work is something we can only see in time. But don't let the fear of what it is stop you getting it.
The effectiveness is dependent on a lot of external factors than the actual. Like, this vaccine might work against this strain, but like a flu for next year, it only works on this one strain, and the virus can mutate.
Well, it can mutate in many different ways. There's a mutation that's going after UK right now, where it is significantly more infectious.
Yeah, but they're saying that mutation is such that the vaccine should work against it.
Exactly.
As far as they know.
Right.
So
it can mutate so it doesn't work, and it can mutate so it continues to work. It just depends on the mutation.
So take it.
I was reading a bunch of
body that might work. That's worst case scenario. So
I was reading a bunch about how they built that vaccine, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty resistant to
mutations.
Mutations. They did it at a base enough level of the function of the virus that it's like one of its first steps that it has to make to infect us, and they've been able to knock it out on that level.
That's good. Right, at least they got more of a broad spectrum solution.
Okay. I did just send Barman a DM as a courtesy to let him know I'm playing this, and I'm just going to put in the chat very quickly. If any of you guys are not subbed to Sarcastic Barman, there's his channel. Please go and sub to him. He's got a very good channel, tearing down pseudoscientific bollocks. But this is his tirade against Riley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Sarcastic Barman, and welcome to my channel. Just a quick little video here, because something needs addressing, and it's to do with this video.
What you are about to see is a nurse receiving the vaccine live on camera, and then shortly after giving a press release, and then you will then see her faint in front of the cameras live, and she dies 8 to 10 hours later. She's 42, Caucasian, white, no previous major health issues, not fat, not this, not that, not the other. You're about to witness the death of somebody by vaccine.
So the nurse in question is Tiffany Dover, and she had the COVID vaccine on the 17th of December, and around 17 minutes later, fainted on camera. Hopefully she's all right. All reports I can find says she's all right. I'd be interested to know of what Sleeping Warrior thinks is his evidence that she's actually dead.
Obviously, that was not part of the script. It's very easy for me to sensationalize this, but the fact remains that she took the injection. Short time later, she fainted. A few hours later, she died. Now, 42 she is, Caucasian female. She dies 8 to 10 hours after the vaccine. Now, let's think about this scientifically. Observed phenomena, healthy 42-year-old female. Hypothesis, if this injection is safe, she could be injected and she will not suffer any adverse reactions.
Hang on one goddamn minute. You're talking about scientific bits. So your first thing that you should have done scientifically is probably find out if Tiffany Dover is dead. That would be the first thing you really need to do, which I'm assuming you haven't probably bothered to do. The second thing would be to take that Facebook post you're showing there and track its origins, find out where it came from, and possibly stumble across something like this. Magic. Now, if you have a look, that's the same Facebook post that Sleeping Wank Bag is using. Oh, except there's one little problem. That was posted on the 15th of December. So even with time zones and things like that, you could say 36 hours, maybe 48 hours before Tiffany Dover had her injection. So unless fucking Big Pharma, if you want to go on that route, have got a time machine and sent her back in time to die before she had the vaccine, that would make no sense. And also, that original post is for a nurse in Alabama who didn't exist and didn't have a vaccine and also didn't fucking die. Anthony fucking Wankbag shit-brained warrior, you are fucking useless. If you had 2 fucking brain cells, you would be dangerous. The fact you made this video and put it out there trying to say someone's died just shows you're an attention-seeking whore, banking on the lives that, someone died, I don't know who, I'm doing no research because I don't know fucking how. You are a waste of fucking oxygen. For fuck's sake, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm pretty sure this video needs reporting. For anyone who hasn't reported it, feel free, go ahead. I'm hoping that Anthony Warrior sleeping wank fucking shitbrains will make another video about this and go, oh, yeah, maybe she didn't die. Maybe I was wrong. But that would assume that he's got 2 brain cells to rub together and could think of going down that fucking route. Because he won't. And you won't, will you, Anthony? You'll just be a fucking dickhead about this. For fuck's sake, how useless do you have to be to connect something that happened 2 days and something that happened there and go, look, yes, they're obviously connected. They're obviously 2 days and time machines and all sorts of shit. No, you fucking dickhead. The fuck is wrong with you? Get the vaccine. Stop being a fucking knob. For fuck's sake. People like you put other people at risk who can't get the vaccine. For fuck's sake. No. Just fucking no. Thank you very much. Good night.
Can I just say, Barman, fucking
Thank
go,
you, Barman.
friend.
Yes,
And
thank you, Barman.
yeah, that you fucking said it all. And yeah, never again says the sarcastic Barman says it, so I don't have to. I love him. Yeah, please. I'll post it in there again. If you are not,
I think I should get together with him. He looks like a chap who likes
I
beer.
talk beer with you, my friend. Definitely.
He actually is a bar. He's an actual bar.
Yeah,
he's actually a bartender.
He's a landlord in the UK. Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. His beard is different. Didn't he used to have a full beard on the sides? And he just cut it into a goatee recently?
His sideburns used to be full, yes.
Yeah.
We definitely, I think hopefully when things are back to some degree of normality and there's no lockdown, I think some of like the Brits in the community, we definitely have to do a road trip to Barman's Pub, I think.
Oh, buy me some tickets. I'd like to go.
Yeah, we got to do that.
I want one of his
We'll have to
pizzas
go
as
meet
long as
up
there's
with-
no damn
Where's
pineapple.
he based?
I'd have to ask him. I've got a rough idea, but I also don't really want to say on the stream unless I, I've got a rough idea where he's
Eric,
based.
North, South, Midlands.
It's sort of. I will say actually, if it is where I think it is, it might be a nice halfway meetup point for you and I, Noodle.
It might
So.
be. We're about.
Well, it might be slightly further for you than it is for me, but it's about if where I've heard it is. But
Hey, I can get over there if I ever actually get the money. I have some good news that I can now get a passport with my correct gender marker on it.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
How about that? So I'm gonna go about doing that.
Are we going on for a substantial amount of time yet? Because I'm considering cracking open another beer.
Oh, crack it open, mate. Go ahead.
Cool. Can I speak a couple of just a few words about it?
Yeah, I'll put you solo, my friend.
Oh, wonderful! So
I love you, beer junkies.
So this is a beer that I've never tried before. It's an IPA, and it's from Bryggeri Vestkysten, which means the brewery on the west coast. And I live on the west coast of Jutland, which is in Denmark, what is considered the west coast. The name of the beer is Brilleæbe, and that would be equivalent to the English expression "four eyes." Well, someone wearing glasses, and this is what you would use mockingly against people who wear glasses. It's an IPA, oddly specific alcohol volume of 5.78%. I'm not sure if it means anything special. As far as I can see, a clean beer, which means it's only brewed with water, malts, hops, and yeast. So this is going to be interesting. And I just Googled the brewery, and it doesn't seem to have its own website, which is interesting. But my glass that it was in the shipment of beer from a different brewery, which is northeast from here. And they put 3 beers with that shipment from this brewery. And they also put this very fine glass in the same package, which has now become my favorite glass to drink of. So it will go in that glass, of course. So that was my presentation. So you can on full screen me again if you like, but I mean you can keep me full screen if you want to as well, Jeff. I wouldn't mind.
That's one of my favorite things about the current rush of independent breweries is the great names that they come up with for some of these beers.
Oh yeah.
See, my one of my favourite names for a British ale was one called the Dog's Bollocks. I love that.
Wonderful.
I can't remember any because I'm not a beer drinker, so I will
say that for our non-British friends, the Dog's Bollocks is just a way of saying that's something that's really, really great. You know, it's like a slang term. So, hey, that's the Dog's Bollocks. Yeah.
It's like another. Okay, it's another thing for the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Interesting. Incidentally, the other day I got confirmed after a test what we all knew already. So hardly any need to say it, but still. I had confirmed that there is absolutely nothing, repeat, nothing positive about me.
Took me a second.
Very nice, very nice.
So that means you have all these magnets that stick to you on the negative end, or what?
Yeah, I have.
I took one of those online stupid online personality test things, and it came up that I have abnormal psychology.
Everyone's got a normal psychology.
Don't we all?
We had
Oh,
normal
see, I'm the
psychology,
only,
we
I'm
have
the only
normal-
one who took it that I've seen that had abnormal, and it was like almost 60% weighted.
Oh no, I took one of there was one going round Twitter of do you have psychopathic tendencies? And honestly, if I admitted to the result I got, they'd probably lock me up.
See, but everybody has some, and there's most our politicians are psychopathic.
Yeah.
Most
Well,
of
I mean,
your Hollywood
most people
kind of
think of
talent is.
psychopaths, they think
Lot
of
of,
horror genres and things.
A lot of like CEOs, those sort of types as well.
Yeah,
Quite-
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are just very driven, and it's very, non-violent psychopaths are definitely a thing. I've got friends who are non-violent psychopaths.
Yep. It's all what's done with it, the pathology.
Yeah.
Like
And I
Jeffrey
had
Dahmer.
one friend who was told they were a non-violent psychopath after a brain scan, and had no idea before that. And they were well into adulthood when they were told this, because you can actually see it on a brain scan.
Yeah, there tends to be some kind of structure or something that can show up. I don't remember the details.
Anomaly, I think.
Well, did you hear the story about how all this was discovered? The current information that we have that took us far beyond what we understood before with the pathology.
No.
There was this brain researcher that he proposed certain tests and things like that, and he was looking for a way to diagnose psychopathology in a new way, other than just talking therapy or written tests or something like this. And so he went into PET scanning and this various kinds of computer tomography, and he found this anomaly that you just mentioned. And then he started doing further research on it, and he realized that he qualified as a psychopath as well, and his brain showed that same anomaly.
No, this is I know this story. He wasn't actually researching psychopathy. He
Was it something else?
and he found it was.
Oh, Noodle, you're breaking up a little again.
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
We missed that whole story.
So you had a little break up for a
he
moment.
wasn't. Whoops, yeah. So he was researching Alzheimer's when he found this. He wasn't researching psychopathy.
Oh, okay.
So he and then he found that his brain looked like the brains that he was using as a control group from psychopaths, and had someone else checking it. And he from there he found what he was looking for. As usual with most scientific discoveries, it was a complete accident.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's neat that we learn so much that especially something like that we all have this dynamic within us, and it's what the environment does with it that seems to be the tipping point.
So
This beer isn't very good,
he was,
No.
by the way. No, it's
it not?
kind of dull. Weirdly sour. I mean, I really absolutely love my sour beers, but it has to be sour in a specific way to be good. This is not good. Someone like, what's the name of those berries? I always forget.
Hello, is that who I think it is?
Um,
Yeah, Balls stepped out for it. Super Chat Matt, is that Super Chat Matt and Miss Amy's lovely side?
Oh, that's
It's on the I Network.
Matt. God,
Yeah.
why am I forgetting her name? Her son.
Amy Hogan's.
Yes.
Nice to see you, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
hey, Matt. Oh,
Yes. Matt is awesome. He is absolutely awesome.
Oh, he's a riot. He's a very funny guy.
Matt, when you grow up, mate, you need to think about pursuing a career in comedy. You'd be a brilliant stand-up.
Oh crap! Are you familiar with the TV series Midsummer Murders?
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's a real good series. I like it, but here it is on. I haven't seen it for months, and it's a repeat. God damn it!
Is it? Is it John Nettles still in that or not? I can't remember who.
I honestly don't know the names.
Yeah.
I like the theme played on the theremin.
I just say for a little village in England, it's had like got to be the. It's
the most dangerous. It's
had
definitely the most
126 episodes.
It's the most dangerous place to be in the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get murdered if you go to Midsummer. No, don't ever go to Midsummer.
Yeah, don't ever go to Midsummer.
Let's see. I actually kind of liked it, I must say, but it ran for too long. You know, it's the discussion we had the other day about Rick and Morty. Should there be another Rick and Morty season? I mean, there shouldn't have been as many seasons of Midsummer Murders.
He left after the 13th series. John Nettles. He played DCI Barnaby.
Do you know if they actually filmed in Midsummer?
It's a fictional place.
Oh, okay.
So this beer tastes a bit like Cape gooseberries with a slight touch of honey. Do you know about Cape gooseberries?
I know what a gooseberry is. I don't know if a Cape one is particularly special in any way.
It is. It is something completely different than just gooseberries.
It's not the same as Cape grapes, is it?
What's that again?
It's not the same as like Cape grapes, is it? Company
it could be. It could be actually. Let me show you a picture.
It's also known as the Peruvian ground cherry, the orange one, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be them. Yeah. Let me just see. There's a fine picture of them here, and if I could just, if I can just share my screen, that's fine with you. I think this one. So I'm trying to share my screen now. I don't know. No, if
hello. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't paying attention then, but yep, there we go.
No problem. These.
Yeah, they look like those itching powder pods you see at the side of the road, or an unripe tomato.
Right. And the weird thing about them is, whenever I have the chance, I can't help cracking them open and eating them. There's something extremely satisfying about peeling them out of that outer shell and getting to that beautiful, absolutely beautiful yellow berry.
Those are edible?
Yes, they're definitely edible. They're extremely sour. They have a very, very distinct taste. And it's actually not very good, but I can't help it. Whenever I got the chance, even though I really, really don't like them, I can't help myself. I have to eat them anyway.
Years ago, somebody told me that was part of the nightshade family and toxic.
It is part of the nightshade family, but
it's not toxic from what I know.
Well, so are tomatoes.
As fruit.
You have to eat a hell of a lot for it to be toxic.
There we go. Mr. Midsummer was filmed in Beaconsfield and Cheshire villages in Buckinghamshire.
Oh,
but
beautiful village.
The main character, the guy who was the main character for like the first 10, 15 series. It's played by a guy called John Nettles, who played it's probably not so much outside the UK, but he played another famous TV detective called Bergerac.
Ah, Bergerac, exactly. No, Taggart, he was Scottish. They did show Bergerac in Denmark.
Yeah, it was set in Bergerac was set in Jersey. My
other favorite British mystery or detective show that's out right now is Breakwater and blah blah.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
was a good series that was in the
Oh,
night.
I
There was a
think
brilliant
it's
one.
British. It might be Australian.
Yeah, there was a good one in the, I'd say from the mid to late 90s into the early 2000s, called A Touch of Frost, which was good.
Yeah, Touch of Frost.
But with David
Wasn't
Jason, that was
yeah,
really good.
David Jason.
I think British cop show murder mysteries and stuff are so much better than American. Americans always seem to focus on blood and gore and this
No,
deep
I'm going to
violent
say
mental
that.
illness and guns and
Sorry.
you guys write stuff to make you think.
Yes,
okay. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say America has the best cop show ever made, though.
Which one?
The Wire.
The Wire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
That is Jenny. I think you'd like The Wire. It does make, but it's a little bit. It's a social commentary on America in the form of a cop show, really.
How about?
Oh, what we got here? Sorry, let's put before you. The Shield.
Hi, Ox.
That's that.
Never
Is that the guy from Breaking Bad?
no, it's not. This is Michael. This is Chiklis, Mike Chiklis. He was in the comics as well.
Okay, he just looked like that from the.
He also had a role in Seinfeld. Actually, he was.
Oh shit! Sorry. Oh, Hops! I accidentally kicked Hops. Oops.
He'll be back.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see why you like them, but I find a lot of British murder mystery series are they're too episodic for me, and there's not enough character development.
Sorry, my bad. That was a mistake. That was
no problem.
Screw up there, Hops.
No problem.
I don't know. Most of them I see could stand alone. In fact, a lot of them I've only seen once or twice, and there was no story within the story. You know, there is in terms of character development. I agree with you on that, but there isn't like an overall overarching story that is being followed for the whole life of the show.
Yeah, I'd say The Wire there's not like an overreaching story all the way through it, but it is very character driven without a doubt. But it is it's very much a social commentary on America though, and especially on the war on drugs.
I wish I could write that kind of stuff.
I mean, I
so
think
much fun.
I mean, the guy who wrote that, David Simon, I think what else did he write? He wrote Tremaze, with another series he wrote. But The Wire is good because he wrote a number. The Wire set in Baltimore, where David Simon used to be a journalist, and he used to be follow a lot of the police and crime stories, and he wrote a book called The Corner, which was a bit about a lot of the like gangs that you know, which were basically dealt drugs on the corners, and kind of got into that kind of culture a bit. And it was the thing. Yeah, that's the thing with The Wire. It's the lines between who the good guys and the bad guys are. Let's just say they get very blurred. Because some of the cops in this are arseholes.
There's a new American cop show that's written by David Kelly. Do you know who he is?
Name rings a bell.
Twin
There's only one
Peaks.
David Kelly I've heard of, and it's probably not that one.
These guys wrote Twin Peaks and some other
that's
well-known stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a real bizarre twist in his brain. Well, he's come out with this new one. It's called Big Sky. It takes place in Montana. You know, the rednecky, one of the rednecky states. And it's really wow. It has just been one surprise after another. Every episode, there's some big fucking shocker that goes through you and just completely blows your mind. It's only run for geez, I don't know, maybe half a dozen episodes, and now
Hey,
it's
what
on
did-
hiatus. But you can catch it online, I guess. Hulu or ABC or something like that.
Any one of you were familiar with the Scandinavian crime series? What's the Swedish one? By Mankell.
I
The
don't
old
know.
Kenneth Branagh made a remake of it, which was
I know,
kind of catastrophic,
yeah.
but
I know Sweden's got quite a tradition with like crime novels, and or at least it has the last 20 years or so.
Wallander. No, I am the Swedish Wallander. I am much more ugly and much more miserable. There was this absolutely. It's just a short video, which is a parody of Scandinavian crime series, and in there were also a couple of Danish ones. The Killing, if you ever heard of that, and we also had The Bridge, which were pretty popular abroad also.
Wasn't was the girl with the dragon tattoo Swedish or Danish?
Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah, those are that trilogy, the original trilogy, is some of my favourite books. I didn't think much of the David
American
Lagerkrantz sequels. No, well, no, there's been 3 more books in that series after Stieg Larsson by David Lagerkrantz, and they've not been as good, but the Stieg Larsson books were brilliant.
I haven't read the books, I have to admit. The thing is, Stieg Larsson died shortly after he finished the 3rd book, so...
Yeah, he died before it was published, but I definitely...
I believe in that, yeah.
I know about Stieg Larsson. I think Blunkvist was based on himself. I think 2 of the characters, I think Mikael Blunkvist and one of the other characters, Erika Berger, were based on Stieg Larsson and his mistress and his long-time girlfriend. But Stieg Larsson was a journalist himself, and he was a writer for a magazine called Expo, which, to give you Noodle, you might get this reference, but Expo was the kind of Swedish equivalent of Searchlight magazine, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah. Vaguely.
That's what that.
We have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Was Searchlight not the? Am I confusing it with the? Were the ones that they go in and they do like exposés about.
Yeah. My internet's playing silly buggers. Then.
Der Spiegel.
They go in and they do exposés on like racist groups and anti-Semitic groups and all sorts.
Who's that?
Searchlight, if I remember.
Searchlight,
right.
yeah, that's right, correctly, yeah. Well, Stieg Larsson used to run the sort of Swedish equivalent of that called Expo. It was basically an anti far right hate group magazine, and it did exposés on them. So, but he started writing this, and you can really the more I've read about him, the more convinced I am that the character of Blunkvist is based on Stieg Larsson himself.
That's another thing that I'm jealous about you guys about is your magazines. Your magazines are so diverse, so well done, just beautiful, beautiful works of art in terms of layout and the quality of paper that you guys use, the quality of the photography. It's just.
I'm gonna back in 2 minutes. I'm gonna have a cigarette, guys.
I used to write a monthly column for a magazine, and I miss it so much. I would love to get another magazine gig. Paid really well too.
It will do, because you're usually paid by the word, aren't you?
Yeah, I was making $600 for 1,000 words.
That's not bad at all.
And this was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was serious good money. It was-
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, while we're talking about sort of Scandinavian media, why did no one tell me how good Danish humor is? Like some of the-
Because it
some of-
isn't.
No, I've been no, because some of the I really admit I kind of followed some friends over, but some of the comedy films that come out of sort of Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, some of them are actually they're an odd kind of humor. I will admit they are an odd kind of humor. They're very snarky. But I love that kind of humor, and I have to say I do enjoy it. You've got to be in the right mood for it, but I do enjoy it.
We've got any examples because there are good humorous films in from Denmark and from Scandinavia, and there's shit also, but
Yeah, I mean, granted.
any specific that you're thinking of? I mean, I'm thinking of Vike and Rasmus. They are absolutely fantastic, for example. And there is Monrad and Rieslund. They're also fantastic. They didn't make any films though.
I wouldn't know the names in Danish. I'd only know sort of the English translations.
Okay, which were the English translations?
There was one I saw that was what was it called? You know when your brain just goes. I said
Yes,
it, and
I know.
I thought this through before I went.
Couldn't think of
Before I
Reptile
opened my mouth.
just an hour ago.
But no, I've got a lot on my watch list as well that I'm working through. But even stuff that's like not necessarily meant to be comedy has some really good comedic elements. I watched. I'm into my historical dramas, and the last thing I expected to find was to sit and watch a royal affair and laugh. Because some of the moments in it, I mean, the young man who played the king in that was absolutely fantastic.
I don't think I've seen that.
To watch. Hang on, I've got the DVD here. Let me just grab the case. Where is it? Where is it?
One thing about this fictional town of Midsummer, it's not only a very quaint village, but apparently all the women are gorgeous. We also get Doc Martin over here, which I just enjoy so much.
This one, Hops. I watched it because it was Curzon. It was Artificial Eye, and they're the same producers who made the film about catting years ago.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I'm quite sure I've never seen it. I actually have to look it up.
I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but if you can read the names.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Obviously, I found it because I was following Mads Mikkelsen, but the other two actors in it.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. And
yeah. I don't know the Mikkel both. How do you pronounce that O with the line through it? Oof. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that difficult.
It's not, no, but yeah, it's very good, and the madness is played very well.
How do you pronounce the umlaut in German? It's you get it on an I and
exactly the same way. Eller or maybe a bit more open, but basically the same sound.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And you only see it on an I and an E, right? or I should say an O.
No. You see it in German. You see it on O's and A's and U's. There you go.
Yeah.
And the U with the umlaut is pronounced Ü, and that sound would be a Y in Danish.
You know, they talk about in Japan, or I should say in Asia, they like to use American words for products and businesses because it's cool and hip and stuff, and they pick words that are just completely wrong for what they're trying to sell, but they don't know that. They like how it looks and sounds, so they use it.
The funny thing about the ice cream Häagen-Dazs was spelled like that because the one who invented it thought it looked and sounded Danish. The thing is, to a Dane, it sounds like it looks and sounds like someone like a weird mixture of drunk Polish and Finnish.
To me, it looks German. I always assumed Häagen-Dazs was German or Dutch.
It could be Dutch as well, but they don't have umlauts, and they also don't have the combination of S and Z and Z, which Danish doesn't have neither, and we don't have umlauts neither. So
we have this company here in town. It's a car dealership that sells Hondas. And so they have their sign. This is so funny. All they sell are Hondas, okay? And of course, used cars. And because it's cool, somehow they put an umlaut above the N.
Above the N.
It's like, okay, it's a German accent on a Japanese car, and it's on a consonant, not a vowel.
Kenfa. Reminds me, I
want to write him a letter and tell him it.
I learned after I lived in Ireland. I actually did use a lot of time to actually learn Irish because I didn't want to have it on me that I had lived in Ireland without learning Irish. And I was in a lot of these Facebook groups which were all in Irish in Ireland, and there was someone who had placed an accent over an N as well, which you don't do in Irish. You will only put that over vowels as well.
Sorry, I got kicked out my own stream. Have we lost Bull? Is he gone?
Yeah, Bull had to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks to Bull for coming in anyway, sir.
Yeah. Robert X, I know it's not Dutch. I just said it looks Dutch to my eyes as an English speaker. It's just, I don't know. I find, especially as an English speaker, there's certain word combinations or sound combinations that automatically make me think of certain other languages. I don't know if anyone else does.
Sure thing.
I'm just weird.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can. I mean, not know a language, but still identify it if you see it in writing. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I can pretty much identify just by looking at the writing the difference between sort of various languages that use Cyrillic alphabets, but just don't ask me to read any of it.
Right.
The best thing I ever did for languages as an American, the country that doesn't learn languages, is I took 4 years of Latin in high school. And of course I can't speak Latin, I can't write Latin. But if I read French, Italian, or Spanish, I can frequently make out what the hell's going on.
Right.
I can't actually read it and pronounce it or anything like that, but I can kind of, there's enough words that I can get a drift often what's going on.
It's a Romance language, isn't it? I did it the other way because I learned French in high school, then went and learned Latin as an adult, or tried to learn Latin as an adult, and found myself using my knowledge of French, Spanish, Italian to figure out what the Latin words were.
Amo, amas, amat, amamos, amatas, amant.
So, yeah.
It's the declining amo.
Yeah, denouncing ammo, yeah. The declining ammo. It's the first thing you learn.
My Latin teacher, she said, that was the first thing she taught us. And she said, if I ever see you on the street after graduation, I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth until you say amo, amas, amat, amamas, vatas, antvat. And so I've carried it with me these almost 50 years now. Of course, she's long dead.
Yeah, because it's first declension, isn't it? So it's the first thing you pick up on. I don't know. I'm not too keen on learning declensions and everything. I prefer there's another way of learning it, Lingua Latina, which basically it's more of an immersive style of learning that I sort of picked up on. Because too many. I had the same problem in French. I had the same problem in Spanish. Same problem in Italian. I cannot learn it if you just give me grammar tables.
Yeah. See, the problem is with Latin, if you're going to try and learn
life.
Latin through immersion, you got to go hang out with priests.
Not necessarily. There are books. Go hang out with classicists. Seriously.
See, that was a joke.
Yeah.
A tasteless joke, but a joke nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, I would. To be fair, you have got a point, but just go hang out with classicists. They're much more fun. And I can say that from experience.
Latin was the best language to take when I was in high school. We had the Latin club, which had meetings and stuff afterwards. It didn't really have meetings, but we pretended to. It was the biggest club in the whole school. And the single reason for it was that once a year.
PJ says Hops watches the King Under the Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Under the mountain.
Is that what it means?
Hops watch?
No, that's not what that means.
Oh, comment on your hair, Hops.
Okay, yeah. Well, the thing is, I live in the Bland Netherlands. And that's because weed is banned here, and we have exactly as many mountains, which are none at all. So no. I couldn't be that, but thanks anyway. I see that as a huge compliment.
Well, what about cities I like? I mean, you said the Netherlands. I got a bit earlier. Yeah, Amsterdam's one of my favourites, but mainly because the coffee shops, to be honest. But
Amsterdam's in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
it is.
And weed is illegal.
Weed is illegal in Denmark.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say that Denmark and the Netherlands are very much alike, and to an extent, it is actually true. Our languages are about as ugly as each other, and our countries are completely flat.
No, I just thought you said that weed was illegal in Netherlands.
No,
so
I
misheard
now
you.
I'm sure. I'm going to say what I believe to be the situation. Now, Robert's in the chat. He'll probably correct me on this if I'm wrong. My understanding is that weed is technically illegal in the Netherlands, but kind of tolerated, sort of thing. So it's like, my understanding is it's kind of, that's my understanding.
No, there's a level of legality to it, which means you can buy it legally in coffee shops and for personal use or something like that. So there's a level of legality to it in the Netherlands. However, there's none in Denmark. In Denmark, it's an illegal drug. And if the police catch you with it, they'll confiscate it and maybe give you a fine. They could do that.
Well, the general thing I was told in Amsterdam is like, if you're going to smoke a joint, smoke it in the coffee shop. Don't go out on the street with it because they will take it off you.
It's kind of like drink alcohol license in the UK, where
Robert's in the chat. I'm sure he's going to. Yeah, Robert's in the chat. I'm sure he's going to correct me on what I've probably got wrong there. So.
It says here they're governed by strict laws that control the amount of permitted and conditions which it's sold and used. Not allowed to advertise, no under 18s, and not more than 5 grams per person per day.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fashion faux pas!
Right, but
she's wearing this pretty dress with stockings, and then she's got socks on as well. It's just like, oh gosh, how can you do that?
Who are we talking about?
Wrong
on
comment.
TV. On TV. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
PJ, you just asked if no one's seen The Hobbit. I'm going to direct you to look at Ring's username again.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Hobbit. I've
Yeah.
never read any of
So
the
have I.
J.J. Tolkien
J.R.R.
stuff.
Tolkien.
I've never
yeah.
read any Harry Potter stuff.
The Hobbit's fairly easy reading, actually.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is a bit more in depth. It's a bit harder going, but
Yeah, I will say Ring got me with the movies because I made Ring sit and watch 8 Harry Potter movies, so they made me sit and watch all the Lord of the Rings movies, which was fair but hard going. To be fair, I did enjoy it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Netherlands may have stupid rules, but there's still a level of legality, and we don't have any of that.
They're less stupid than ours, I can assure you.
Definitely less stupid, yeah.
But you know, it's one of those, isn't it?
I have bought pot and got it more than 10 years. But I really want to smoke. I want to develop that habit again.
Yeah, you know, I mean, here's the thing though, but it was like, this is the funniest thing is that, I mean, I did a rant about this on my channel about 2 years ago when I found out about this, but like the, at one time, I mean, they've just sort of slightly opened the door towards medical uses in the UK, even though they're it's not like we got dispensaries or anything. They've somewhat opened the door, but the UK is the biggest exporter of medical marijuana in the world. Yet we couldn't get it. We weren't allowed to have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, talk about fucking hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna ask the local police chief. We've only got like 2 cops in our town. And I'm gonna ask the local police chief if it'd be okay if I smoke pot. Because it's that kind of town.
Yeah, exploratory. Dandelions don't count, my friend.
Although you can make good wine out of dandelions.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
And they taste great in salad.
Actually, there's
If you pick them in the spring when they're just coming up before they flower.
There's actually a brewery in my county. I mean, they're known for making ale called Gales, but they're also well known for their range of country wines, and they'll have like dandelion, elderflower, strawberry, cowslip, all those kind of weird wines, that basically made from anything but grapes. They're quite well known for their little range of what we call country wines.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gales of Horndine in Hampshire are quite well known for it. But they do some nice.
I'd like to try to make wine out of clover. Have you ever chewed on a clover flower? To eat its nectar. It's really sweet. It's wonderful tasting. But the only way I know that you can get it is the actual little petals of the flower, and that would take an awful lot of harvesting to make any amount of wine. But I think it would just be so good as an alcoholic taste.
Oh, I think I was to say, I think Ilya was sold on my little idea that I watched the old Creepy Show last night, and there's one that I said I really wanted to do. I said I'd chat later, and because I was on stream at the time, but I said I really want to do the I said great episode for you, The Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. So the only person who don't get that is Noodle there, but
I'm not sure if I get it neither.
I have no idea
Yeah.
what that is.
Well, that's this idea that there are big cats roaming the UK.
Oh, there are.
Yeah, in mainly in the big areas, Bodmin Moor in Cornwall, and the big cat. Let's put it this way: big cats are not indigenous to the UK. It's the best we know.
Yeah, the biggest cat we've got is the Scottish Highlands, the one in the Scottish Highlands, isn't it? And it's about the size of a tomcat.
It's only it's a little bit bigger than a domestic cat.
It's basically like it's even crossbred in some areas with the local domestic cats.
I mean, a lot of the thing they say is they use the term alien big cats. Now, when I first heard that, I thought that meant to mean from outer space. What that necessarily just means? No, it just means that they're not indigenous to the UK. Although from what I've seen, there are some people who take that word literally, who think, and there are some conspiracy freaks out there who think that this is that the big cats in the UK thing is being silenced by people.
Oh, God Almighty!
Which is bollocks. So why would there's no point
Why
to
would they
censor something?
it?
No. And the reason I think it's interesting is because there's a tiny degree of plausibility to it, and I'll explain why. That in a lot of these sightings, I suppose, starting in the 60s, but really took off in the 1980s. Now, in the late 70s, there was a law passed around let's put it this way, a lot of exotic, because of rules about exotic pets, should we say.
Right.
So it's an idea that a lot of people who had certain big cats as pets may have released them released them into the wild, and in the UK just basically abandoned them, and that small populations may have sprung from them. So there's an element of plausibility to it. I'm still not convinced. I'm still far from convinced, but I think it's an element of where it's plausible, but
Don't you have a bobcat in the islands?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's what's it called? The Scottish Highland
ocelot?
No, ocelot is a jungle cat in Brazil.
You'd know that if you played
Scottish wild
Minecraft.
cat. It literally looks like a tabby cat with a really fluffy tail.
Scottish wildcat, isn't it? Or
yeah, it's Scottish wild cat. It's a beautiful animal.
But I guess that would be these huge cats in southern England. Isn't that just cats that adapt to the size of rats that you find in English sewers?
Yeah.
Only if you listen to Nerdy. Beast of Bobbin Moor's an ancient tale. Now, that's interesting because I didn't know that. I'm gonna do some delving into that myself, but there's been. I just find it an interesting one because it is semi-plausible. I'm not convinced by it at all. I think there's a lot of bollocks. That's a lot of the people, a lot of sightings that are bollocks. But I think it's interesting.
PJ Smith, it depends if you're a Doctor Who fan whether there's still werewolves in London. So, yeah, I think most people, if you saw a Scottish wildcat, you'd think it was a tabby.
I mean, actually, in Rural Rides, William Cobbett even claimed to see like a big cat the size of like a spaniel dog or something, near Farnham in Surrey. But
Wildcats scare the fuck out of me.
William Cobbett, by the way, lived literally half a mile down the road from where I live. One of the great political radicals of British history, you know.
Wildcats scare me to death. They're so fucking powerful and so fast, and they really look at humans as food. You know, it's I don't know if I could ever go to, Africa, say the savannas of Africa, but then I'm living in an area where there's cougar, mountain lions, whatever you want to call them, pumas.
Yeah.
They go by lots of names.
See, this is what a lot of people are wondering. What might be in the what we've got in the UK, if anything. Now, the big thing generally we that gets described when you talk about the beast of Bodmin Moor is like a large black cat. So people are thinking, is it a black puma or what? Or a black leopard? We don't know. No, I find a black leopard be really weird because black leopards are really rare in areas where they're kind of indigenous. So the idea is a population of black leopards breeding in the UK, I find very difficult to believe. But
you know that those are indigenous to Southeast America.
Yeah, exactly. Or jaguars, even like black jaguars, even more.
Yeah.
So, but
I think all the cougars, jaguars, panthers are all the same animal, but they just get different names in different places.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering out loud.
Well, it's like a lot of things. It's like, I mean, we got a few like weird like crypto things and these cryptozoology things. So, I mean, the most famous probably the Loch Ness monster, but obviously a lot of Scottish lochs claim to have their own version of that.
Yeah, Nessie is real. I'm sure.
But,
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, well, I mean, the most famous one was exposed as a hoax, wasn't it? So.
When I lived in Milwaukee, there's this lakefront park that has a lagoon. And there are, honest to God, people who think that this lagoon in a park, which I don't think it's even more than 2 acres of water surface, it has a monster. I mean, it's, oh, I've seen it. No, you haven't. If they don't cut the weeds out of this thing every year, it'll suffocate anything in it. There's no monster in this pond.
I think the first thing to think about when you think about any lake monster in any area in a lake monster, the first question to be asking is, if there wasn't one, what would they put on the tea towels they sell you in the gift shop? If you don't have an answer, you can safely assume there isn't one.
Oh boy.
So
yeah, that urban mythology is really wild. What people
I mean,
come up
mythology
with.
is wild in general, but yeah. This is my theory.
Yeah, but yeah, I find it very weird. Some of the old, the Beast of Bodmin Moor kind of thing is always kind of, I don't know. I don't say fascinating me, but I found it interesting enough to like think: is there something plausible to this? Possibly, but at the same time, some of the bloody videos on YouTube, and it's like Beast of Bodmin Moor caught on film, and all it is there's something rustling in the bloody trees that you don't see. I'm like, oh wow, what the fuck? Seriously?
Could you spell that and write it out in the chat? What the hell you're saying?
Okay, I'll put it in the private chat.
Oh, is that true, Ring? That you know that for a fact?
If Ring says something about animals, take it as truth. Ring knows.
Okay. See, because they call the cats in Southeast America, they call them Black Panthers.
So Not these kind of Black Panthers though.
No, not those
Jenny,
kind.
no. Those kind.
No, those are in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, Oakland originally, but oops.
Huh.
By the way, that's autographed. That's actually autographed. This one by David Hilliard, the former chief of staff of the original Black Panthers.
Nice.
Nice.
We've talked about this. The Black Panthers were actually a social, very positive organization when they started.
Yeah. I mean, this is back in the days when they were kind of a force for good. I mean, people confuse them with the new Black Panthers, who are just they're problematic, seriously problematic.
Cultural appropriation.
It happens. It happens.
No, Oakland lost its Raiders. They're now in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so I've heard. But speaking along those lines, you I'm sure you're happy with the Washington ditching there.
The Oakland Raiders.
No, I mean, but Jenny, I'm sure you're happy with Washington ditching their old name.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I always thought that they could have kept the old name, but just changed the logo from a Native American to a bunch of those small potatoes.
Yeah, why not?
With the Redskins, just a little group of them sitting there. They're Redskins.
Hey, there you go. The Washington Spuds. That's a good name for the team.
I'm really surprised but very pleased that the Cleveland Indians are going to change their name. They're going to dump on Indians finally.
Okay.
And then I think all that will be left is
Atlanta Braves.
And that I really hope they change.
Well, this is the thing: is the origins of because the obviously Atlanta Braves were the Boston Braves, weren't they at one time?
They were the Boston Braves, then the Milwaukee Braves.
Yeah. Then
where they won a pennant.
Yeah.
and then Atlanta stole.
Atlanta. Well, that is the origin of Washington. What was the Washington Redskins as well? That they were originally the Boston Braves. And
the football team.
Yeah. A lot of the time when they started, the football team had the similar name to the baseball teams. I mean, you had the New York Giants baseball team for how long, before they moved to San Francisco.
And the New York Giants football team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had a lot of that where, there was that they would. I think I can't remember who copied who. Well, it wasn't really a copy, but where one team had but I think it was Detroit. One team used to name Lions, and then the baseball team used to name Tigers, or I can't remember who did it which way around, but they had the big cat theme going there.
Yeah, Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions.
Mm.
And then the Packers, of course, are named after a bunch of guys Slaughterhouse.
Oh, I'll try and find it for you, Jenny. Actually, there's a YouTuber. She's a little bit more of a tea YouTuber. But I get someone I happen to know called Dottie Morgan. She's from Wisconsin. She's a big Packers fan. There's some videos she found of someone who's like, I forget his name now, but he's like kind of a comedic kind of YouTuber from Wisconsin. And he was doing some video outside Lambeau Field, like Lambeau in lockdown kind of thing. It was quite funny.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Sure.
I'll find it. I'll DM it to you.
They won yesterday to I think they clinched best record in the NFC.
Well, my sports team,
Yesterday.
my big sports team lost yesterday, but they were playing Manchester City, so it's excusable. So
I think Dallas plays today, so you'll have fun.
yeah,
following that.
apparently, I haven't really kept track of it this year, but I think they've only won 1 or 2 games so far this year, anyway. So
I think they're up to 4 or 5 now.
okay.
4 or 5 out of like 12.
Yeah,
So it's
they're not
real
going
positive.
to they're not going to the playoffs. Let's put it that way.
No. The Packers have the NFC first seed, even though the record's tied with New Orleans because they beat New Orleans early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot for the Packers because of what you said, that they are the only team in the NFL that's actually like fan owned, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
they're owned by the community.
Yep. We like it when the Packers are the first seed in the playoffs because then all these teams have to come to Lambeau, and you never know what the weather's going to be in January. Remember, that's when the Ice Bowl was played.
The
so
Ice Bowl, yeah.
It could be 13, 15 below zero. You just don't know.
See, if it was more available when I was a kid, I'd love to have played. Because I used to play rugby, but I would have loved to have played American football when I was a kid.
Here's my
Really
wallet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna run, folks. So it's nice
Yeah.
chatting
To
with you all,
to be honest, I'm going to probably end this in 5 or 10 minutes anyway. So.
Hizzy, this is my first time being on with you.
It's not. We've had streams before.
You've been on.
Well, I only
Noodle.
think one or two fairly brief ones. I don't remember us sitting together for an extended period. Anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed it. You're so smart.
Thank you too. We all know different things, and it makes for good conversation when we get together.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So yeah.
So just plug hold on. Plug yourself before you go.
Yeah. Before I go, I am Danger Hissy on Twitter. There's a link to my fandom Twitter at the top of my main. I have a Ko-fi, I have a Redbubble. So buy merch, buy us a coffee if you like. Much appreciated.
By the way, I'll just say the link to Noodle's coffee is in the description of this. So those don't know, let's just say this: her and Ring have been hit with an unexpected expense. Could be helpful if you can spare a little change right now.
Yeah. All appreciated. Ring has a Patreon, but he's stopped billing at the moment. But that doesn't mean don't sign up, because he's going to start billing and recreate and making content eventually. And Ring's content's really good, mainly because it has a lot of me on it. I'm teasing, but Ring's content's really good. So support them too. And yeah, that's everything I do. What I'm going to start doing, because I have the Redbubble now, if anyone wants any stuff with designs on it, I'm not a professional, but I am reasonably good at things like photo manipulation and creating designs. So if you want any designs to come up with that I can then put on Redbubble for you to buy the merch and things, hit me up. Happy to work on stuff like that. And even if anyone needs like logos, I designed Ring's logo that you see in the chat. I designed that. And some other stuff as well that I've done on my Redbubble. So take a look, enjoy. And it looks like, timing wise, of course, Ring's computer just started working. Typical. But yeah, I'm gonna head off. Do all take care. If I don't speak to you before the holidays, happy holidays if you celebrate it. If not, enjoy, have a good week. If I don't see you before the new year, happy prosperous new year to you. Hopefully 2021 is going to pick up for all of us. And as always, take care, be good, and if you can't be good, be careful.
See you, Noodle.
See ya.
Okay.
See you, Noodle.
Grumpy Sprout.
Okay. I suppose I will start drawing this thing because we've been on 2 hours 20 minutes. Jenny, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, just the holiday extravaganza that's coming up that Perp has been organizing. We've got 36 hours worth of committed content creators that are going to go back to back and do a continuous show for all the folks who don't necessarily have a family to go back to for the holidays and that kind of thing. There's going to be all sorts of different content from panels to some people are going to play games. Some are going to build Lego things. It's going to be very interesting, very different. I am going to. I haven't gotten a hold of all of the people yet, but it looks like I'm going to be on for 36 hours continuous.
You're looking to do the endurance thing.
Yeah, just as a stunt. Just want to see if I can do it at my advanced age of 66.
I know. I can guarantee you now. I could not do it.
Well, I'm pretty
neither could I.
insomniatic, so I think I have a good chance.
I would never have been able to do that at any age up till now.
Oh, see, we used to do it all the time back in the hippie days. We used to work at a hotline, crisis hotline, and it was 24/7. And we would sometimes have to go 48 hours nonstop. One guy had the record; he did 60 hours nonstop.
That doesn't sound healthy.
No, it doesn't. But we were hippies, kids.
Right, of course you were.
Of course, we were making bad decisions. It was our job.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say though. One thing Purple's doing is he's got a lot of streamers together for like the kind of Christmas Day thing for mainly to try and help out people who have to spend Christmas alone. So I didn't want to commit myself to hosting any streams or anything, but I did say, look, I might be willing to jump into one or two or something to help someone else out. But
well, there's floating around Twitter is a Google Doc document that you can get to, and it has links to every show. But if you get onto Purple's show on YouTube, as the first show being shown, which I believe begins at 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve day. I'm sorry, that's Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Each content creator is going to have a link to the next show in their description, so you'll be able to follow them that way. Or if you go to get this Google Doc and bookmark it, you can jump to whatever show you want at that time. What else should we know about that? I don't know if anybody is putting together any kind of GoFundMe or anything for any kind of generic charity or anything like that, but somebody might suddenly do that. So pay attention if you got a few extra dimes.
I'll say, basically keep your eyes peeled on that one, but it would that's a good thing that they're doing anyway. I think it's in general, it's a good thing, because let's face it, it's probably this year more than ever. It's needed because there's going to be a lot more people spending Christmas by themselves. So,
right,
I think it's needed. Hops, you don't have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, well, I'll be participating in the same 36-hour back-to-back stream. So keep an eye out for me as well. I'll be streaming at my local time, which is Central European time, from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. On Christmas Day. And that would be, I think it's UTC, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. I am planning to have, nothing is kind of chiseled in rock, but I would love to have a discussion about about state churches. We have state churches in Denmark, and I've invited, and he says he wants to be there, the co-host of the Bin podcast, Kjartan Rowan, onto the show.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is. And he said he wants to be there. So we'll have a couple of Scandinavians who are used to live under state churches, and we'll have a discussion whether there might be advantages to that. So
I know nothing about that, but I will be interested to hear that. That's going to be fascinating.
And though I will prefer to live without a state church, I have to admit that there are good arguments to have them either way. So I'll do that and probably review a couple of beers on the way. I mean, if I know one myself well. Also, I've got my channel. It's called Hops Watch. Find me on YouTube. I also got a Patreon, which I have suspended at the moment because I kind of struggle a bit with depression. I am also unemployed at the time, so it's very limited what I am allowed to receive from other funds. But I'm finally getting a bit worked up on that again, and I'm planning a video, 10 signs that you are heterosexual, because why not? You've got all kinds of 10 what's it called? 10 signs that you are homosexual and all that. So I thought I wanted to make one 10 signs of being heterosexual, of course, highlighting privilege more than anything else. Highlighting privilege when you are heterosexual.
The theory being that if you come out as homosexual, you gain certain privileges.
No, on the contrary, that if you are heterosexual, you have some privileges that you may not be aware of.
Okay.
That way around. Apart from that, I'll be. I'm Hopswatch. I like beer, so it's also a beer channel. There are a lot of cool, awesome beer reviews in there if you're interested in that. Plus some political stuff, plus a bit of satire, the occasional sciencey stuff as well. Mostly political, I will say, and secular activism. I do. I've been criticizing the cult of the Last Reformation in a lot of videos. I've kind of gone away from that because it was taking too much of my time and too much of the soul, which I, of course, apparently don't have. I'm ginger after all. But the equivalent of that, the atheist equivalent of that, whatever it may be, that's me. Always remember to drink responsibly. And until next time, cheers.
I'm so glad I met you.
Okay, I think I'm back. My internet died then.
For a second there, you weren't there, but we didn't cry for so long.
No, I didn't think you would. Okay, I suppose I should just plug what myself really. I do now have a Patreon. I'll just put it up on there. It's in the description as well. I have only just set it up. I am still trying to figure out how to use it and what to do with Patreon. I'll be trying to sort that out a bit more in the new year. But people have kind of asked if they, how they could support me or whatever. So I kind of was like, okay, I'll set up a Patreon. Hopefully, I definitely have ideas to try and do stuff with my channel in the new year. Whether they come to fruition or not, I don't know. But I definitely want to get back into doing some interviews with people because I enjoy doing that. I think I was doing very well earlier in the year with the growth I had, but then like a lot of real life stuff got in the way, and I had to take a bit of a break, and and that happens. But I definitely I've got one or two people who've agreed in principle to come on for an interview at some point, so hopefully I'll get that starting the new year. It's definitely one or two people I'm thinking of reaching out to as well, which I'm hoping to get on board. But obviously, I'll be keeping the Asterix things going with Noodle as well, which we share between both of our channels. But that's kind of what I'm doing now. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming again before Christmas or not. I haven't any plans to, but I haven't really got any plans to stream before New Year. But I may do. I might do an impromptu one. I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm saying at the moment. Is I am planning to do stuff in the new year. Hopefully it will come to fruition. Hopefully real life won't get in the way so much. 2020's been a shit year. Let's just try and get through this, get into 2021. Hopefully things are going to look up. So with that, I think we shall sign off. Shall see you guys later. Okay.
Cheerio.
Yeah. Cheerio.